10 potential surprise entrants in the WWE Royal Rumble matches for 2021. Hi, welcome to SCW here on YouTube.com. Thank you for choosing the channel and choosing the video. Please subscribe right now. Leave any comments in the comment section. Please like and share the video as well. It is Royal Rumble season, so without further ado, what do we love at Royal Rumble matches? Of course, it's surprise entrances, maybe call-ups from NXT, one-off appearances from NXT, maybe those long injury returns, or superstars, legends that we haven't seen for a very long time. So lots of potentials that we could get in the Royal Rumble match. Of course, we've just had a Legends Night in WWE not so long ago. So WWE are not against bringing people in, despite the fact we have a pandemic. So without further ado, let's go through 10 superstars that I think could be surprise entrants in the men's and women's matches in the Royal Rumble this year. So starting off with the women's one, first one I'm going with is Rhea Ripley. Now Rhea Ripley is rumoured to potentially come to the main roster. She recently lost in a last woman standing match to Raquel Gonzalez at New Year's Evil on NXT. Of course, after last year at WrestleMania, she had a WrestleMania match with Charlotte Flair for the NXT Women's Championship, which was a losing effort that she lost that championship to Charlotte. It was supposed to be at Raymond James Stadium in front of, 70,000 people. She didn't really get that WrestleMania moment. She had the match, yes, but she didn't have that special moment in front of people. I do wonder if the long-term vision of WWE is to get Rhea Ripley on Raw or SmackDown challenging for the Women's Championship. And the fact that we could be back at Raymond James Stadium this year, and the fact maybe with a bit of hope, maybe we could have some fans in attendance. I wouldn't be surprised if Rhea Ripley's time in NXT finishes and she comes as a surprise entrant, and not just as a surprise entrant, maybe coming in and winning the Royal Rumble. An NXT superstar has never won the Royal Rumble before. What a way that you could come in and re-debut yourself, actually then permanently on Raw or SmackDown. This would send shockwaves in the wrestling community, in my opinion. So Rhea Ripley is my first shout of who I think could be coming in as a surprise entrant into the Royal Rumble. Next, Trish Stratus. Now, there has been rumours going around that she's been in talks with WWE. Perhaps maybe she could be doing some work in the Performance Center, maybe with NXT. Maybe she'll be coming back as a performer once again. Of course, there's still matches we would love to see, maybe against the likes of Sasha Banks. We still never got the match with Alexa Bliss. Perhaps there's Bayley on the list as well. Asuka. The list is endless with today's current crop. So many talented women. There's no reason why Trish Stratus wouldn't want to come in and actually, battle the likes of some of these women. So perhaps in that way, I think she'd be a great surprise entrant in this Royal Rumble. She was in the first one a couple of years ago. Will she turn up in this year's Royal Rumble? Time will tell. We'll have to wait and see. Another legend who was just recently on Raw Legends Night is Melina. There was rumours going around that she was signing with WWE, but nothing's really materialised with it. She certainly turned up on this Legends Night for Raw, but this would be a great way to bring her back in, to have a moment in the sunshine in the Women's Royal Rumble match. We need more women. There's arguably not enough on Raw SmackDown collectively to make a Royal Rumble match. Take the champions out of it as well. Certainly would be a good excuse to bring some NXT stars in and some outsiders. So for me, Melina, she's a great shout. I could see this one going down. Next is another female who was supposedly signed with WWE and was supposed to be on TV by now, but had her return pulled. Perhaps the Royal Rumble is a better spot for Eva Marie to come back into WWE programming. Yes, the female that was on SmackDown 5 years ago, who wanted an excuse to not wrestle and was expected a big push towards the championship picture, but then left WWE. Eva Marie has been training in the Performance Center. Maybe she'll be back at the Royal Rumble. Last from the women, Ronda Rousey. Let's go big. Go bold or go home. Ronda Rousey's contract with WWE is expected to expire shortly after WrestleMania this year. So if she's to come and do one more match at WrestleMania, perhaps the Royal Rumble would be the place to bring her back in, because if she was to come in, let's not kid ourselves, she would win it. And of course, it would put her in a championship match at WrestleMania, perhaps at this moment against Sasha Banks or against Asuka. Eva would be dream match territory for me, and there's certainly other capable women that could have a great match with Ronda Rousey on the roster. Some would argue that the money match that's waiting for Ronda, the only match left for her, would be Becky Lynch. It seems too soon for that at the moment. Of course, Becky not long ago became a mother. I don't think she'll be coming back anytime soon. So if Ronda was to have one more match in WWE, I think it would be against somebody else. Next, then we'll move on to the men. Let's start with Damian Priest, shall we? Because Damian Priest has been rumoured to be coming up to the main roster as well from NXT. Of course, he lost to Karrion Kross not long ago on New Year's Evil, was arguably meant to be part of a SmackDown storyline with Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns, which that was pulled apparently. And we haven't seen Damian Priest come onto SmackDown TV since. Of course, it never aired at all that. But maybe the Royal Rumble is the right place to bring him in. It would be a debut. He could then be on SmackDown from the week following afterwards. Could fit nicely into storylines. SmackDown is missing a babyface right now, it feels, on TV, and perhaps Damian Priest could fill that role, and maybe the Royal Rumble would be a good place for him to debut on the main roster in WWE. And of course, WWE likes to have NXT stars in the Rumble from time to time, so maybe this is the year of Priest. If it was up to me, I'd like to see Tommaso Ciampa in the Royal Rumble. I think it would be pretty cool, but I don't see that one kind of happening because I don't see him going to Raw or SmackDown. So unless it was a one-off, I can't see that one happening. I think from NXT, more likely would be Damian Priest at this time. My next one will be Rob Van Dam. Now, this one seems quite out of left field, doesn't it? Certainly a legend. He can still go in the ring. He's a part of Impact Wrestling only a few short months ago. And since leaving Impact, he's supposedly been doing projects with WWE. Now, maybe it's a chronicle, maybe it's a series of some description. Maybe we're looking back at ECW. Who knows what it could be? But certainly, if something like that's going to air soon on the WWE Network, as it was reportedly in the works a few months ago, maybe the Royal Rumble is a great place for Rob Van Dam to come in for one night, maybe do a short run with the company, or certainly just a one-off appearance in the match. It would be a great excuse then from Raw, SmackDown, perhaps even after the Rumble, to have something like a chronicle or something featuring Rob Van Dam. So for me, Rob Van Dam is an outside bet, but certainly one that I think could be a potential that could be a surprise entrant in this year's Royal Rumble. Let's go on returns, shall we? Edge, of course, would be the biggest return, probably arguably at the moment. He's been out since Backlash with a shoulder injury after taking on Randy Orton in the greatest match of all time. No one argue that, please. But to Edge, yeah, I mean, if he's to come back in the Royal Rumble this year, Randy Orton is in that match. And of course, they're expected to have a match at this year's WrestleMania if Edge does make that return. Now, we did return at last year's Royal Rumble in epic circumstances. Of course, it was the first time in 9 years that Edge had competed in the ring. Really took everyone by surprise. The place came alight. Would it be the same in the Thunderdome? I'm not so sure. Personally, for me, I would say that I would be against it, but certainly it's something that I think potentially could happen, which is why I think Edge deserves to be in this list. Speaking of people who've got problems with Randy Orton, how about the Big Show? Looking after the Legends Night this past week, I think the Big Show could be a potential surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble. He told Randy, I can go anytime I want to. He's not one of those people that's washed up. He can still put his boots on and still compete in the ring. Well, Legends come into the Royal Rumble match, and maybe Randy will be waiting in the ring on his own at some point. Maybe the Big Show will be a surprise entrant. I wouldn't expect the Big Show to go on and win the match, but a short cameo certainly would be a lot of fun in 2021, in my opinion. Last but not least, Brock Lesnar. What a big surprise if the Beast incarnate was to come back in the Royal Rumble match, especially at the latter part of the match. If it was 28, 29, or even the coveted number 30 spot, throwing all your favourite wrestlers over the top rope with both feet hitting the floor, Brock Lesnar would be a favourite to go to WrestleMania in a championship match, whether it be perhaps against Drew McIntyre once again, or would it be against Roman Reigns, who, let's not forget, Paul Heyman is now in Roman Reigns' camp and not in Brock Lesnar's. Certainly, food for thought. Perhaps it's something that could happen. So that's what I think. 10 potential surprise entrants in the Royal Rumble match. Let me know who you think could be a surprise entrant in this year's Royal Rumble match, whether it's for the men or the women. I look forward to interacting with you in the comments below. Other videos you can go and check out. Have you watched the latest Q&A on Ask SCW? If not, go and check it out right now, answering all your questions in the wrestling community. More videos will be released this week, so make sure to keep an eye out, particularly more WWE and Impact Wrestling as well. But that's all from me. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, hit the notifications as well, set it to all so you know when a video is released. Please like, share with a friend as well. You've been watching SCW here on YouTube.com. Thank you for watching. Have yourselves a great day.